What is going on, online fitness coaches? Welcome to another episode of the Change Lives Make Money Online Trainer podcast. This is the #1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to grow a successful online business. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to stop self-sabotage forever. How to stop self-sabotage forever, because frankly, I think that there are some online fitness coaches that constantly find themselves in this cycle of like starting and stopping. And in today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about how to break that cycle and finally break through and stop self-sabotage. Now, before I get into today's episode, I just want to let you guys know that I'm really, really grateful for last month. We did hit a record-breaking month in terms of podcast downloads, and I just want to say thank you. That means the world to me that I've got so many of you guys that support me, appreciate getting the content and the value. It just means the world. So I just want to say thank you so much. Now, self-sabotage is a funny topic because I think that everybody wants to be successful. Right? Like the reason that you start a fitness journey or the reason that you start working on your online business is because you want to be successful. And so let's talk about getting to $10,000 a month, because I think that that's the gold standard for online fitness coaches. We all want to get to 10K. But I think a lot of online coaches, what will happen is that we'll start to accomplish our goals and we'll start to get into some momentum. So if we're trying to hit 10K a month, we'll start to acquire some clients and we'll start to make some moves in the right direction. And then we'll feel good and we'll feel excited. But all of a sudden, for some reason, we start slipping. How many of us have been there where we'll be in momentum, we'll be signing clients, we'll be posting content, and then all of a sudden we start to slip. We start to sleep in a little bit. Maybe we skip some of our morning ritual. And we don't even notice that it's happening at first, but all of a sudden we realize that we're hitting snooze every single day. We're slacking on posting our content. We don't have enough leads. And we start losing clients. Who here has ever been in a place where they were in momentum in their online fitness business and they were starting to do extremely well, and then all of a sudden they fell out of momentum and they started self-sabotaging and they started almost chopping themselves off at the knees? Now, I had a car ride with Kirsten this morning and we talked about this idea of self-sabotage. And I want to bring this idea to you guys because I think it's going to be super useful. I want you guys to think back to, let's think back to your 9-to-5s. So we're all online fitness coaches here. So if you're an online fitness coach, I want you to think back to your 9-to-5. And if you're currently in a 9-to-5, then this is perfect for you. I want you to think about how much money you're making at your 9-to-5 or how much money you used to make at your 9-to-5, right? Think about it for a second. I mean, we almost get accustomed to making $15 to $25 an hour. We get used to it. That is our normal. And for me, I remember the first time I ever hit $10,000 a month as an online fitness coach. And it was crazy to me. It was astounding. I couldn't believe it. It was mind blowing. I'm like, this is crazy that I'm making $10,000 a month. And how many of you guys have felt the feeling of making way more money than you ever thought you were going to make in a month or in a day or in a week? And what usually happens is if we're used to making a certain amount of money and then all of a sudden we start making a lot more, we're used to making $3,000 a month. And all of a sudden with our online coaching business, we make 7 or 8. What we end up saying is, this is crazy, right? We end up saying oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This is crazy. I'm my mind is blown. I can't believe I'm making this much money. It's crazy. And so if when we accomplish a goal or when we're, heading towards something that we want and we start to say things like, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. This is it blows my mind. I have a question for you guys. If it's crazy to actually start accomplishing your goals, what's normal? Think about that. Most of us, when we start to accomplish our goals and we'll start to move in the right direction, we'll say, this is crazy. Oh, this is crazy. I can't believe it. My mind is blown. This is crazy. But if that's crazy, then what's normal? Right? For it to be crazy for you to hit $10,000 a month, then what is normal for you? If it's crazy for you to make $5,000 in a day, then what's normal for you? What have you defined as your normal? And I want you to think about this for a second. What have you accepted as your normal? Not only what have you defined, but what have you accepted as your normal? Right? Guys, and this is the exact same reason that those of you guys that have weight loss clients, you'll have weight loss clients that will self-sabotage. Because let's talk about somebody who is 250 pounds and they want to lose 50. So they're like, I want to lose weight. I want to go on this big weight loss journey. I want to accomplish all my fitness goals. And so what ends up happening is they lose 50 pounds and they want to get to 200 pounds, but they view themselves still as that 250-pound person, as in they've got the clothes of a 250-pound person, they've been called the names of a 250-pound person, and they've accepted the identity of somebody who's 250 pounds. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, their external results and the things that they're accomplishing in their life don't match their internal identity. And that's when they start saying things like, oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe it. My mind is blown. Because their identity, their internal identity is somebody who is 250 pounds, and their external results say something different. It says that they're 200 pounds, and that's why it's crazy, because their normal is 250 pounds. Does that make sense? And so as that person starts to lose weight, if they don't change their identity, they can't believe it. It's crazy. And so what they'll end up doing is, well, like, what's normal for them? Like, if it's crazy that they're losing so much weight, what's normal for them? What have they defined as normal? And more importantly, what have they accepted as their normal? Do you guys understand what we're doing here? Like, do you guys understand the game that's being played? Like, this is a mind game. Do you guys understand what's happening inside of your mind? Like, do you guys pick up what I'm putting down? So like, the reason that you self-sabotage is because when you start to accomplish results in your life that external results that don't match your internal identity, you will self-sabotage to get yourself back to where you believe that you should be. And that's the definition of self-sabotage. And I almost don't even think, I think it's commonly termed self-sabotage, but I think what it really should be is alignment with who we believe that we are. It's only self-sabotage because we want to get to our goals. And so we're sabotaging our goals, but in reality, we're just aligning ourselves with who we believe that we actually are. Does that make sense? Are you guys getting what I'm saying right now? So the reason that most people self-sabotage is because they view themselves a certain way and their results are speaking differently. Like, they're getting better results than they're used to because their normal is not getting results. And so as they start to accomplish crazy results, and if the results don't match their identity, they will sabotage themselves to get back to where they believe that they should be. I talked about this in a podcast as well. And my client, Ben, quotes this frequently. Ben Pruitt, he talks about the financial thermostat. So if you believe that the most amount of money that you've ever made is like $5,000 a month and that's what you're worth, then anytime you end up making more money than that, then what you'll do is you will engage in behaviors that will get you back to what you're used to making, because that's your thermostat. And that's the same sort of concept when it comes to your business, when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to anything. You first have to understand the game that's being played inside of your mind. And the game that's being played is that when your internal identity doesn't match your external results, you will engage in behaviors to get you back to your internal identity. And so if you're on a weight loss journey and you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to get in the best shape of your life, but you view yourself as a fat person and you've accepted the fact that you are overweight, then even though you'll lose weight externally, at some point you will readjust to get yourself back to where you believe that you should be, because that's the identity that you believe that you are. And we always act in consistency with who we believe that we are, which means if you view yourself as broke or struggling for money, or that somebody that like always has it rough, somebody that's always been struggling, somebody's family who's always been like, if you view yourself like that and you start to succeed financially, you will sabotage yourself so you can get back to where you view yourself, back to your identity. We always act consistently with who we believe that we are. And so it isn't really self-sabotage, it's actually alignment. Like, we are aligning ourselves with who we believe that we actually are. Does this make sense? Guys, when you think about this concept as well, this is also why it's so fucking important to have a vision. Because when you have a vision and you view yourself as a certain way, you view yourself as successful, you view yourself as abundant, you view yourself as making as much money as you want to make, you view yourself as like, you know, the king of online coaches or the queen of online coaches or the most successful online coach, then you will act in alignment with that vision that you have for yourself, and it makes it easier for you to accomplish your goals. But the reason that most of you guys self-sabotage is because most of you guys are viewing yourselves from the lens of your past. Like, you go through shit in your past and your family gives you a set of beliefs and values that say that you're struggling for money, or that it's really hard to make money, or that it's really hard to be successful, or that it's really challenging to lose weight. And so you view yourself through that lens, like the lens that society gave you, or the lens that your environment gave you, or the lens that your parents gave you, instead of understanding that like you're creating your reality by accepting your identity. And so for those of you guys that want to be successful and you want to make $10,000 a month, the key to success here is to understand that like the reason you're sabotaging in the first place is because you don't view yourself as somebody who makes $10,000 a month. You view yourself as somebody who makes 3. And so as soon as you start to succeed, you're going to sabotage yourself to get back to 3 unless you make the adjustments I'm going to talk about in this podcast. We always act consistently with who we believe that we are. And so how do you stop the self-sabotage? Does this make sense? First of all, before I get into like how to stop it, are you guys following along? Does this make sense? Okay. So how do we stop it? How do we get rid of the self-sabotage? Here's how you do it. I'm going to give you guys a step-by-step process. Number 1, you need to set goals that put you outside of your comfort zone. And so I'm going to talk about this for fitness. I'm going to talk about this for my online trainers because I'm speaking to my online trainers, but I also want to talk to you guys about how you can relate this to your clients. So for my online trainers, you need to set goals that set you outside of your comfort zone. And so if the most amount of money online coach that you've ever made is $3,000 in a month, then you need to set the goal of making $3,500 in a month, because that goal is going to take you outside of your comfort zone and it's going to force you to become a person that you've never been before, right? And the same analogy for me is like hitting a PR in the gym, right? It's like for me in the gym, when I'm like, if I want to grow in the gym, then I figure out what my PR is and then I challenge myself to like break that PR. And so, and it's also the same thing for me. Like when I used to be a runner, I don't know how many of you guys have ever done running, but when I would break through a length of time that I've ever ran before, or I'd break through like a speed that I've never been before when I was timing my runs, I always knew that I just became a new person. So number 1 is you need to set goals that put you outside of your comfort zone. And so for financial goals for online trainers, you need to figure out exactly the most amount of money you've ever made in a month. It doesn't matter where it came from. Like if you were had another job or it was online coaching, figure out the most amount of money you've ever made a month. Let's say it was $3,000, and you need to set the goal of making $3,500 to set a goal that stretches you outside of your comfort zone. So that's step 1 to stopping self-sabotage, is set a goal that puts you outside of your comfort zone. And so for you guys that have weight loss clients, then give them get them to set goals that are like outside of their comfort zone, like something they've never done before. So get to a weight that they've never gotten to before. So like help your clients set a goal that they've never done before. It puts them outside of their comfort zone. Okay. Step number 2. Number 2, commit to smashing the fuck out of that goal. Like goal setting is cool, but goal setting without the drive to accomplish is useless. Goal setting without the will to win is useless. You know, setting a New Year's resolution is fucking useless because most of you guys wait until January 1st. When January 1st comes around, you set your New Year's resolution and then that's it. That's it. And then 2 weeks into the year, you're demotivated. And as a result of that demotivation, you fall off track. So commit to smashing the fuck out of your goal. So step number 1 is to set a goal that puts you outside of your comfort zone. Step number 2 is commit to smashing your goal. Goal setting is cool, but it's useless if you don't do anything. Now, this is where we get into like, okay, that's, I think a lot of you guys have done that, right? So if you're an online fitness coach, especially if you're in the 10K Coaching Academy, you've done that. Like you've accomplished a goal that you didn't think you were going to accomplish before. You probably are making $3,000 to $5,000 to $7,000 a month, and you're doing great. If you're in the 10K Academy, I know you are. Like I see you. Right? My clients win. But here's where most of you guys are making a big mistake, okay? Most of you guys are making this mistake. Once you hit your goal, don't say, this is crazy. Oh my God, I can't believe it. This is insane. This is blowing my mind. Because guess what? When you say this is crazy, at the exact same time, you're also saying, by saying this is crazy, this is not normal for me. Do you guys get that? By saying this is crazy, you're also saying this is not normal for me. Normal for me is not making money. I'm making money right now, and this is crazy. You're admitting to yourself that you're broke. That is not okay. You can never say this is crazy. Again, you can't say I can't believe it again, because if you can't believe it, it's because what you can believe is that you're broke. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? This is case. So if you're in the 10K Coaching Academy, you need to help me catch this mindset, because all of us are in the community together. And so all of us can help each other. And this is how we help each other. Guys, this is what I say to my clients. And I talked to my client, Fatty Mancy, about this in the mastermind. I talked to my client, Fatty Mancy. I'm like, you've accepted your old identity of struggling. This is what I said to Fatty. Fatty's like, man, I'm making $20,000 a month. It's crazy. Like, I always have this like feeling that it's going to go away. And I literally said this to Fatty, like right to his face. I said, welcome to your new normal. Welcome to your new normal. This is your new normal. That's what you need to say. You need to say, thank you. Oh my God, I love this so much. This is my new normal. I love this so much. This is my new normal. Welcome to your new normal. So if you're an online coach and you're in my 10K Coaching Academy and you see another client succeeding and another client being like, this is crazy, what you need to say to that person is you need to say, welcome to your new normal. I'm so proud of you. Welcome to your new normal. This is your new normal. This is my new normal. One of my clients recently messaged me about hitting $10,000 a month. And I was like, welcome to your new normal. Welcome to your new normal. How does that feel? Welcome to your new normal. See, we define ourselves by these like old scopes of like old paradigms, and we define ourselves as struggling, or like we define ourselves as always like we can never find a job, or we can never get the girl, or we can never lose the weight. And it's like when your clients lose weight and they're accomplishing their fitness goals and they're saying it's crazy, you need to say to them, girl, welcome to your new normal. Welcome to your best life. You're fit, you're healthy, you're doing amazing. How does it feel to be fit, healthy, looking good? Welcome to your new normal. Guys, I'm going to be vulnerable with you guys. Like, I came from a trailer park. Okay. So like my grandma and my auntie, they did such a good job raising me. And like, we didn't have a lot of money. And so I didn't learn how to be abundant from my parents, because my family like worked super, super hard, but we worked super hard for like minimum wage jobs. And like my family struggled to get by. And so I struggled hard as fuck with self-sabotage. And that's why it's so easy for me to talk about now. Because when I first started online coaching, you guys, the reason it took me 2 years to get to $10,000 a month is because I'd start to get to like 2 to 3, and then I'd sabotage and party. I'm like, oh, this feels weird. And this is why a lot of us self-sabotage, is because it feels uncomfortable to be successful. Like when we start like making a lot of money, it's like, oh my God, like I feel it's like uncomfortable. It's like when you look at your bank account and like you're used to seeing it in the negatives, and all of a sudden you see $10,000 to $20,000 there. It's like, holy shit. It's like, it's like uncomfortable. Like it feels weird. And so full transparency, you guys, like whenever I would start to succeed when I was an online coach, like I didn't have this mindset back then. And so I'd start to succeed. And then when I'd start to like do really well, I'd like feel really weird and uncomfortable, and it would feel like almost like awkward, and I would self-sabotage, and I would find a way to get back to what I viewed myself as normal, right? It feels uncomfortable to be successful because we're not used to it. And so like, this is your new normal. And guys, I remember as I started to make more money, I remember the first time I made $100,000 in a month, like it was so uncomfortable. It was so uncomfortable. I literally felt like, I was like, man, I don't deserve this. Like I'm a trailer park kid. I don't have a university degree. I'm like, right. It felt like physically uncomfortable for me to have that. But I kept saying to myself, welcome to my new normal. Welcome to my new normal. Welcome to my new normal. This is my new normal. This is normal for me. I love this. This is normal. I'm so grateful. Welcome to my new normal. This is amazing. Welcome to my new normal. And I just affirmed it over and over and over and over again until it became my new normal. Which leads me to point number 4, how to stop self-sabotage forever, is embrace the feeling of being uncomfortable. Write that down. Embrace the feeling of being uncomfortable. The reason that so many of us self-sabotage is because it's way easier for us to go back to what we're used to, because what we're used to is at a lower level. And so as we start to accomplish our goals and as we start to achieve more things and as we start to progress in our life, it feels fucking uncomfortable. And so many of us will back off and will self-sabotage because we're not used to the feeling of being successful. And so we start thinking to ourselves, what if I'm not able to maintain this? And what if I, go back to the way that I used to be? And what if I behave like I used to be and then I lose all the success? But the truth is, the reason that you accomplish those goals in the first place is you're no longer the person that you used to be. And so many of us are afraid of failing, or we're afraid of succeeding because we don't want to get to $10,000 a month and have 40 clients and then let them all down. And so before we even get there, we chop ourselves off at the knees and we don't give ourselves the opportunity to succeed because we're not used to what it feels like. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Welcome to your new normal. You have to know that it's going to feel so weird to be making more than you've ever made in your life. And that's okay. Embrace the feeling of being uncomfortable. This is what most people do. You guys have to understand that you have to be uncomfortable. You have to know that it's going to be okay. And you have to know that it's going to be a new normal for you soon. So let's quickly recap, you guys. I'm going to give you a 4-step process. I'm going to give you a 4-step process to stop self-sabotaging so that you can start to get the results that you want in your coaching business and you can see momentum in an upwards direction and not in a downwards one. Number 1, set goals that set you outside of your comfort zone. So if you're an online fitness coach, figure out what the most amount of money you've ever made in a month is and set your goal to beat that by $500 to $1,000. So that's the first thing. Figure out how much the most you've ever made in a month is. Set your intention to beat that by $500 to $1,000. Number 2, don't just set the goal, commit to smashing it. A lot of you guys are really good at setting goals, but then when it comes down to the follow through, what it actually takes, the will to win, that I'll do whatever it takes, you just don't have it. I had a client message me that they were struggling and they're like, man, I'm really struggling. I've been consistent for 30 days and I haven't gotten the results that I want. I'm thinking of quitting. And I'm like, bro, it's been 30 fucking days. I've been consistent for 7 years. Talk to me after 90 days and let's have a conversation. But don't be discouraged if you don't hit your goal in the first 30 days. You need to commit to smashing the goal and doing whatever it takes for as long as it takes and knowing that if somebody else has done it, it can be done. Number 3, once you hit your goal, don't say, this is crazy, I can't believe it. Instead, say, I'm so grateful, this is my new normal. I'm so grateful. This is my new normal. And if you're in the 10K Coaching Academy and you see another student saying, this is crazy, I can't believe it, you need to, even as they're celebrating their wins, you need to go to their posts and you need to say, welcome to your new normal. Welcome to your new normal. And number 4, you need to embrace the feeling of being uncomfortable. Don't be tempted to go back to how it used to be because you're that's what's normal for you. Don't be tempted to go back to, how it would feel to be a failure because that's what's normal for you. Don't be tempted to go back to your old life and your old way of behaving and thinking and sleeping in because that's what has been normal for you. Embrace the feeling of being uncomfortable and understand that this will become normal for you soon. Do you guys understand what I'm saying to you right now? If you want to stop self-sabotage, you need to shift your internal identity to match your external results. You can't quit smoking permanently if you identify as a smoker. Eventually, you'll revert back to it. If you're I'm a smoker, eventually you're going to smoke again. That's not me. That's Tony Robbins speaking. That's a Tony Robbins quote. You can't quit smoking permanently if you identify as being a smoker. Eventually, you'll smoke again. Because we always act consistently with who we believe that we are. You can't lose weight permanently if you identify as being a fat person. Eventually, you will revert back to your identity. If you're like, I'm fat, I've always been fat, I'll always be like, eventually you'll lose weight, but eventually you'll bounce back. You need to shift your identity. You need to view yourself in a different lens. You need to view yourself in a different light. An online fitness coach, you cannot get to $10,000 a month if you identify as somebody who struggles with money. I've always struggled with money. I'm always struggling with money. I'm always struggling with money. As soon as you start to succeed, if you think you're struggling with money, as soon as you start to succeed, you're going to take your foot off the gas pedal because it's so uncomfortable to be something like externally that you view yourself as differently internally. Like if you're succeeding financially, but internally you feel like you struggle with money, you will be like so disconnected from yourself and it's going to feel so uncomfortable. So you need to catch your internal identity up to your external results. And you need to say, this is my new normal. We always act consistently with who we identify as. So if you want to stop self-sabotage, you need to normalize your success. Don't say, this is crazy, I can't believe it. Instead, say, I'm so grateful. Welcome to my new normal. And I promise you, it's an incredible feeling. All right? That's it. That's all. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Change Lives Make Money Online Training Podcast, the #1 show for online fitness coaches who are trying to go successful online business. If you got value from this episode, one thing that you can do is that our podcast doesn't grow from ads. It grows from word of mouth. So if you got value, screenshot this episode, share it to your Instagram stories, tag me at BMarkFit to let me know that you're tuning in. Peace, love, and protein, guys. Have the best day of your entire life, and I'll talk to you soon. Let's go.